Hello everyone, Treecks here. Welcome back to Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, also known as SOTN. Now we are actually exploring the Floating Catacombs, as you can see. Used to be the upside down T at the bottom of the map. Now it's actually a standing up T at the top part of the map. This area is quite difficult, so make sure to have high level, good gear, and also a pretty decent amount of leveled up familiars. Looks fine for me, I guess. The bad familiar is the only one that's really staying behind, so it's not going to be a surprise that that's indeed going to be the one I'm going to be equipping for the moment. But that is how things are. Hopefully that's going to be... oh, good enough. There were a bunch of bats on the ceiling over there. Interesting. I've also got one for my own, but unfortunately that's only one. A bit underwhelming, seeing how many the enemy actually has. Oh, nice move! I was about ready to say, man, there's a lot of red skeletons here, but that sentence was still in my mind, and my bat already jumped the gun. Nice move. Here we can actually find another pair of life and heart vessels. It's also going to help us. HP over 500 in the meantime. Looks nice. We're going to be needing it in a moment. Even though I'm of course going to be using a cheesy method in order to make the difficult boss fight a bit easier. So the amount of HP I have is not per se going to be that important, I guess. But we'll talk about that in a minute. It's going to take a very long time. Therefore, I'm probably going to have enough time to talk about it the moment we actually get to the boss fight. Down here, attack potion. Into the wall. There's even a sign actually indicating there's something here. It's nice. Some sort of necklace by the looks of it. Necklace of J. I wonder what the J is standing for. Hopefully not Joker. Necklace of Joker. What are you doing here, Joker? Let's see if we're able to use it. Replace the Ring of Arcana, I guess. It's just for item drops. Oh, this is just a pure defensive item by the looks of it. No special traits, but it just increases our defense by 5. Let's go immediately also put in the other item I want to. The one we're going to be needing for the boss fight. Moonstone is actually also good to use, I see. Apparently it is nighttime. Let's also re-equip the Blood Cloak. Because of the way I want to take on the boss, I'm going to need a lot of sub-weapon usage. And therefore, getting hit, restoring my hearts is a good thing to have. And now, for the most important item, this is actually one that's going to break the boss fight. That is actually going to be the barrel circlet. As you can see, this will restore HP if you get hit by lightning damage. And yes, the next boss fight is going to be making use of lightning damage. And this way we are actually basically invincible. And we need to be. Because this boss fight is going to be utter hell if we are not. For maximum damage output I'm going to be using a two-handed weapon. The shield is going to be useless anyway. The barrel circlet is going to make sure getting hit is not going to matter. We're not going to be able to use a shield because of this being a two-handed weapon. But because of the way I'm actually set up, I'm not going to need one. The first time we're going to be tackling a boss in this game where actual strategic get-up is going to be required. Yeah, like I said, otherwise we're not going to be able to defeat this guy at this point in the game. I'm afraid this is indeed necessary. Let's not longer keep you guys in suspense. Let's go take a look at what we're dealing with. Still a couple of rooms we need to traverse, of course. But we are close. Most difficult boss fight so far in this game. Remember, this is the empty room with just one coin in the candle. It's interesting that even here in the inverted castle that is still going to be the case. Game is not being very original right now, I know. And here we actually want to save our game after taking this. And that is all we can do in this room. Now let's make sure we're ready for the boss fight. And this actually might take a few tries, so now it's definitely a good idea to save my game. Of course, on a different save file. I don't want to miss this beginning. So at least the first 5 minutes of the video are Secure. And now for the other 15. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually takes that long. But we shall see. 254 hearts we're bringing along in this boss fight. We used to actually face a pile of bodies back in the regular catacombs, as you may remember. But now we're fighting someone a lot more intimidating. Say hello to Galamoth, the most difficult boss in this game. Some people say that using the barrel circlet against this guy is unfair. But I'd say the crazy amount of HP that this guy has is unfair, so... It is still justified to actually use it. Do be careful though, because of course not every single attack he uses is electricity. Also getting hit by him directly is of course not electricity, so that will still hurt you. Oh, and these black balls of energy apparently also are not electricity. But luckily this attack is, and he uses it frequently enough to make sure that if you stand under it, you're, no matter what, always going to be fully healed. So all the pain he actually does with his other attacks hopefully is not going to matter. And this is just going to be an insane, crazy long damage race. Oh. He tried to kick me out of the room. But anyway, technically the best way to actually take care of this guy is to try to hit him on the head. That is basically the trick to this guy. He's weaker on his head. That will actually do more damage. It is pretty difficult to hit him there though, so it's easier said than done to actually hit him in the head. He's fairly big after all. And that's the reason why I actually want to bring the X sub-weapon. We're able to throw that upwards and have a bigger chance of actually trying to hit him there. But eventually you should be able to actually wear him down, because of him not being able to wear us down. And this is also the reason why I think the Blood Cloak is a good thing. It is not per se the strongest defense we currently have, but it will heal our hearts, so... That way we're going to be able to keep on using our sub-weapon during the fight. For every bit of damage we actually take, we actually receive some hearts. So we're never going to fully run out of them. And because of him also healing our HP every once in a while, and it should be a fight we're able to win, even if it will last a very long time. Even my familiar is not able to actually do a whole lot of damage. The critical hits definitely help, so if you've got high luck in this part of the game, it's also going to make it easier. Every single time we do a critical hit, it will actually go towards 70, 80 HP of damage, so that will speed things up. I think I've got pretty high luck for this point in the game, so I do get a lot of criticals every once in a while. That way we do speed the process up a little bit. But it is still going to take a very long time, I'm afraid. Sometimes you can actually advise to take on this guy later, when you're even higher level. Above level 50, towards level 60. When you're in that range of levels. You're probably going to do a lot more damage to him, and things will actually go faster. But because of the tools the game actually gives us, the Blood Cloak, the Barrel Circlet, stuff like that, we are still able to actually take on this boss, even though he looks like to be a boss that we're not able to actually take care of in this part of the game. It's definitely the fun thing about how you can actually strategize with your equipment. We're able to take on the boss that normally would actually wipe the floor with us. Without the Barrel Circlet, we would have been dead a very long time ago. Not even all of our food and all of our healing items would have been able to actually keep up with that. Without the Barrel Circlet, this electricity attack will actually deal a lot of damage to us. Now it's actually the thing that keeps us alive. Oh, 25 of damage, so let's start throwing some axes again. Oh, now he's going to use this attack. Took you long enough. He also has a shockwave attack, as you can see. That one's technically also electricity, so make sure to also jump into that. That will also heal you. At least if you're wearing the Barrel Circlet, otherwise it will not, of course. And that way we technically have two types of electricity moves. Both of them need to make sure to get hit by. because then we're going to be able to throw axes at his head. Doing 28 of damage, so we're able to hit him there. Thank you. And that is just one giant ball of healing that you're throwing now. Oh. It was a bit too far to the front. And it looks like my damage output has actually dropped back to 1. Therefore, I think it's going to be necessary to change a couple of things up by the looks of it. So, let's go try using another weapon. The katana is not really cutting it anymore. Let's go switch to the other katana. It's even stronger even, so it's perhaps not a bad idea to actually start the fight with this. I thought it was the other way around. Apparently this is actually a stronger one, so... Not that it really matters, because of the crazy high amount of defense that this guy has. It is going to come down to the same amount of damage anyway. Even changing up the moon pendant to a different type of extra equipment is probably not going to help to strengthen it up even more. Also not like the moon pendant is actually hurting me in my stats. It was equipped during daytime. At least now we're able to do 9 points of damage again for every hit. Yeah, still full health. Oh, you're trying so hard. We've been here for multiple minutes already, and yet I've yet to take my first point of damage officially. Even though these moves are of course still able to hit me quite hard, but it is not going to be enough. No reason to actually stay around here. I'm already full on hearts. That's the only reason why you would actually want to get hit by this guy. He's going to be healing me anyway, so the damage I don't care about. But sometimes you actually want to have damage in order to restore your hearts again. That's the beauty of the blood cloak. Because of this boss fight taking so long, being able to restore your hearts is definitely a must. In fights like these, the normally obsolete blood cloak is still very useful. He's still not down yet. Yeah, it wasn't for nothing that I actually said I wouldn't be surprised if this guy actually takes 15 minutes. Looks like we are currently at 7 minutes. Might be halfway down, but also getting the feeling we should be actually able to get him down in a minute or 2. Being able to see his exact HP, we're not able to do, of course. That is something that would be very useful at a boss fight like this. Being able to see HP bars, but unfortunately we cannot. Actually seeing the damage output that we're doing per move is the only thing we can actually do. The total amount of HP he actually has remaining, and that is not a thing in this game. Sometimes you actually do see that in RPGs, but not in this one. Come on, die already! And all of these 9s eventually should add up to a total of a couple of thousands. The question just is, how long is that going to take? A little bit too long, I guess. Right, thank you. Back to 192 hearts. Oh, oops! And suddenly we're actually doing him from the other side. Not sure how that happened, but all of a sudden we're actually to the right of him. Perhaps we're actually able to use this... No, I think not. He's too far away from me. Unless I have the knife sub-weapon, I'm not going to be able to reach his face from there. Sounded like a good idea for a moment, but no. Also quickly found out it was not going to be a thing. It won't really help me. Looks tempting, but that ledge is not going to give me the ability to reach him. Right, full on hearts, full on health. Let's go. Approaching 10 minutes of this boss fight. Longest boss fight in the game. If you compare this one to Death, that we actually did while entering this area. And this is definitely from a different book. A very different book. Let's go start dancing. It's a way to keep ourselves busy. Suddenly turning this into a rhythm minigame. Try to get in. Let's make sure not to get knocked on our heads. Ah, come on, not this move again. This way it's going to take even longer. Keep on throwing, keep on slashing. And in the meantime, keep on healing. Oh, come on, stop using this move. It's not helping me. This one should be using. Come on. I'm actually surprised I'm not doing that many critical hits, if I need to be honest. I thought that actually would be a little bit more. It's actually something I was counting on. A lot more critical hits. Oh. Just make sure not to get stuck in between him. Now I'm actually starting to get worried that I'm not even going to be able to beat this guy in 15 minutes. That it's even going to take longer. This episode is going to last for 30 minutes because it takes me 25 minutes to beat this guy. And I'm of course not going to cut an episode right in the middle of a boss fight. That is never going to happen. Worst case scenario, at the cutscenes in between certain boss fights, but not in the boss fight itself. Come on. I really wish I was able to see his HP bar. I want to see how far I am. My sword's still doing 9 damage for every hit. I'm really going to get worried if that also gets cranked down to 1 at some point. But it is very unlikely something like that is going to happen again. It's not like the knight can actually run out the second time. Critical. Not sure what the critical was. Probably the bad move. It was a critical of 20. Oh, yeah, look! There he finally goes. 11, 12 minutes of boss fight. I hope I've been able to make clear why the barrel circlet is more or less a requirement in this boss fight. Man, this is amazing. Takes forever, but being able to do it makes it worth it. The cheese is real, and the life vessel is also real. Let's hope this was all worth it. What this guy was guarding in the rooms behind him better be worth it. Let's return to our regular gear. Of course, this setup was purely meant for our good old friend Galamoth and nothing more. Alucard sword, Alucard shield, the steel helm. Blood cloak we're going to be replacing with Twilight cloak, of course. And my jewelry we can actually keep the way they are. Moonstone and necklace of J. Necklace of Joker. Is actually good enough. Heart vessel. And another life vessel. The game's definitely making sure we're high on HP by this point in the game. Not that we really needed a lot of HP during the previous long boss fight, but still. Ruby circlet over here. It is, however, this other item that is going to be the true prize, the gas cloud. Another reason why it's definitely worth it to go here early, making use of the cheese to beat this hard boss. The gas cloud is definitely one of the best items to have in this game. It is the attacking form for the cloud transformation. Now we're not just able to actually float around as mist, but we're actually doing damage the moment we are floating around. And other than this being very powerful, it is also very fun to use. We'll actually be taking a look at the most practical use of this later on, when we're actually going to be able to find a lot of enemies that are grouped together. Then making use of the gas clouds to actually go through them is really fun to do. There's a certain point in the reversed caverns that we're going to be able to make use of it in a very fun way. I can already promise you. And that way, this is going to be worth it. We were already able to find the ability to attack as a wolf, and also as the bat. But even though the mist transformation actually looks like the most boring one of the transformations, The moment we're able to use an attack with the mist power up by making use of this gas cloud, then things actually got turned around. And suddenly the mist transformation is the most fun one to use. Man, that was a wild ride, wasn't it? We are done in the Floating Catacombs. Let's go fall down the mines and actually start continuing the exploration of the reversed caverns. And that is where we were. And this was all a side path, technically. It was all worth it, because we actually got a very valuable relic in the meantime. And we also found the next treasure, of course, here in this room. Finally being able to defeat our good old friend Death. And retrieving all of our gear in the meantime as well. Our beginning of the game gear. Oh, get away from me, stupid enemies. You guys are not worth it anymore. I've even been able to defeat Galamoth. You guys are not worth it. But I don't care if these guys are going to be following me. I don't really care. We've wasted enough time. Let's go leave. Returning to the caverns. So, split pathway has been reached again. We'll be exploring the left side of the reversed caverns next time. Hope you still enjoyed this episode. It was worth it. A very tricky boss fight was shown off. And also how to defeat him if you're technically not strong enough to actually take care of him. The reversed caverns is the continuation for next time. Thank you for sitting through this long and tedious one. And I will say, Treecks out.